wasn't doing nothing. Minding my business.
Hey!
Urkel?
Yeah! Want to help us kill Sheriff Good?
Hey guys, it's Steak Sauce here from the Off the Grill podcast. Come on in, we're talking horror. And today we're going to wrap up the Fear Street trilogy with Fear Street Part 3, 1666, which debuted on Netflix July 16th, 2021. As I did for the last two, I looked up budget information, and unfortunately I wasn't able to find anything. I was kind of hoping that maybe now that the trilogy has wrapped up, that I would be able to find that it would have surfaced somewhere. But unfortunately, maybe it's just me looking in the wrong places. I don't know. But I wasn't able to find it, so that's going to annoy me for the rest of my days, that these three videos don't have that in it. Obviously, spoilers ahead. I don't know why you click on a video that's as long as this probably will be, not expecting spoilers, but hey, some people are stupid. So if you're stupid, watch the movie before you watch this, huh? But I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty good. Certainly not as good as Part 2. The 1978 era of the show, of the movie. What the fuck ever. I'm doing an accent that makes my brain fucking work differently, make me not do good things. So sometimes shit gets fucked up. I meant to say movie, okay? I'm stupid. Leave me alone. I'm the guy that would watch a video this long before I watch the actual movie. Yeah. That's why I know people do it, because I am that dumb. And that's okay. Dumb people deserve to live too. No, they don't. But I had a lot of fun with it. The series in general, for sure. This movie, while not as good as Part 2, certainly was at least on par with the first one. I'm not sure whether it was a little better or a little worse, but it was certainly in the same ballpark. But without further ado, let's get to the good. So I did really like the fact that they've used some of the same actors from parts 1 and 2 in this third one. In the 1666 segment. Who get it? 1666. It's 3 6s. That's 666. It's like the devil. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Oh, they're worshiping Satan in this movie here. It's good. Also, I'm mostly probably I'm gonna try to refer to this as part 3 because 1666 is annoying to say multiple times, and I'm sure it's even more annoying to hear multiple times. So, but yeah, they used many of the actors from parts 1 and 2 as characters in the third part. Be they major or minor in this one. I think Sadie Sink is in there. The Cindy character's in there. Simon and Kate are in there. I don't know their actors' names. Josh is in there. The Sheriff Good is in there. There's a bunch of, as I said, a bunch of the characters from the first two. I didn't have to go and explain all of that shit again. I suck. But I've always liked that concept. I've always thought that could be used a lot more in horror movies, especially something that maybe leans a little into the comedy realm. Return of the Living Dead did that a little bit in part 2, with James Karen and Tom Matthews showing up again, albeit as, like I said, different characters. I don't need the characters to be the same, and I think it's better if it's different characters and I don't reference. I mean, they can kind of joke and it's like we've been here before, sort of humor, but I've not seen it too many times. I can't think, frankly, of another example off the top of my head besides Return of the Living Dead 1 and 2. I think there's definitely room, in Hollywood or whatever to get away with that kind of thing. It's another thing I liked that was kind of funny. when they're dancing in the woods, being hoodlums from the 1600s, bunch of delinquents. One gentleman makes a pass at Sarah Fear.
Caleb, stop.
Don't tease me, girl.
He's not teasing.
What, are you jealous, Sarah Fear? You want to kiss too? Maybe if you weren't such a frigid bitch.
There's your kiss. And if you're still so eager, I'm sure there's a mule tied up who will overlook your flaws in the dark.
Who's played by the same character that plays Dina. And she kind of makes fun of him, and they point out his huge erection. I guess it's not huge, he is white, and it was the 1600s. So, I don't know. All things being the same, I'm not trying to judge the man. But it did make me laugh, so we'll throw it in here. So, obviously, it's being set in the 1600s and all like the witchcraft kind of shit being the persecution of the day. It's kind of Crucible-esque, a lot of the McCarthyism, those references or whatever, the allusions to, I don't know. I'm dumb. Let's not make this a whole thing. But the allusions to like the McCarthyism from when, Arthur Miller wrote The Crucible and all that shit, they're kind of replaced with like sort of a tragic gay love story, because Sarah Fear apparently is also gay. She's a lesbian with Hannah Miller, who was played by the same actress that plays Sam in the first part and the 94 part. So they're kind of together in that realm too. So I thought that was, at least a unique enough twist on that. It's to kind of update it because, let's face it, we're not really persecuting the so-called communists anymore. But, the gays and, all those other, whatever. Let's not make that a whole thing either. Just, they're making their way for sure, but shit certainly isn't quite equal yet. So it's nice to kind of point that out. And I think it was much more subtle a point than the first one. They're like, see, they're gay. Look, they're kissing. They're both girls. Isn't that fucking crazy? Which really drove me nuts in part one. And this also did kind of help tie it back into the first part. I think it's probably safe to say that that's kind of what helped Dina kind of see that Sarah Fear wasn't the problem. And wasn't the evil force that she's kind of portrayed as by the townspeople and all the rumors and shit of that nature. So on that same note, I really dug the reveal that Nick Good, the sheriff, the Good family, at least generationally as well, are responsible for the curse on Shadyside. They go to explain that Nick was the one that was tagging them all, blaming Martin for that. More on that in a bit as well. How he became the sheriff, how his brother became the mayor of Sunnyvale, all that kind of shit. It was kind of passed down from generation to generation. The way I interpreted it, and maybe I missed something, is that it's only like one member of the family in each generation knows about the curse. So I don't think the mayor is involved. He's just benefiting from it accidentally, I guess, which I think makes more sense. It's a little more believable. We are dealing with witchcraft, and it's iffy as it is, but it's, I think, more believable that a whole family's benefiting. Because I have a hard time thinking the entire family's evil and they're all into witchcraft. Okay. All right. But, so that's cool. I like that. It's a great reveal. Definitely kind of amped up the intensity of the second half of the movie. But before we get there, I do kind of just want to also point out that fucking the Pastor Miller look here, this way. this way. There we go. His eyes ripped out. It's kind of fucking cool. I wish we got to see more of him. We'll talk about that later. But we get to go back to 94. Part 2 of 94, baby. And for some reason or another, I don't know if it's that I spent all of the first movie, some of the second, hang with either, just like the different characters. I was kind of happy to go back to them. When I said in the first one, I didn't really like most of these characters. They became more likable. I mean, Josh and Dina were certainly probably the most likable of an unlikable bunch, but I don't know, something's just a little bit different for them. I don't know if that's just because I've started to kind of get into the movies more or what, but either way, I did like it. I noticed in this one that I didn't notice in the first one. I'll have to go back and see. I'm not going to do that for the video, but that they gave adult Nick Good a limp, which is kind of a callback to, when Tom fucking takes the axe to his leg in part 2. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it wasn't there, but I really am shocked that I missed that. Not so much that I didn't put it together, but like that I didn't even notice in the first one that he had like a limp. I mean, I do have to sort of apologize for being annoyed about these scenes with Sheriff Good and the character Martin. Obviously, if you've only seen part 1, they don't really make a lot of sense within the context of the movie at the time. So you can kind of see why I would get annoyed by it, because they don't serve any purpose then. Now with part 3 wrapping up the trilogy, this story kind of coming to a close, those scenes make a lot more sense. Those were kind of planted. Those seeds were planted in the first one, and they come into bloom in the third one. Isn't that fun? So it does make perfect sense now. I get why they were there. That also goes for the scene between Martin and Josh in the sheriff's office as well. Mea culpa. What do you want me to say? I jumped the gun on it. It's fine. Shit happens. Moving on. With that all being said, Martin's actually pretty funny in this one.
Okay. Cool. There's a happens-type of white girl.
All right, I need you to stay calm, all right? I promise we got this all under control.
Okay.
She's one of them now, but we're gonna save her. We're gonna kill Sheriff Good, and we're gonna save Shadyside.
Okay.
In the second part of the 94 portion of the story. And I don't know if it's because I've been conditioned to expect it slammed in my face, but I thought the social issues that are kind of brought up, and all 3 were done like subtly, at least in comparison to other modern movies. Fuck you, Black Christmas. Just like all the stuff, the lesbian stuff, the persecution that they bring up in the first part of part 3, and just I'm not nuanced enough an individual to really go into too much detail about it, but all of that stuff, and I'm just like, I have friends and family that identify that way. I'm trying not to upset them, hurt their feelings, but obviously I'm on their side. Make no mistake about that. But I'm an asshole, and I speak bluntly, and I don't like a lot of flowery language. So just understand that I'm with you. You'll be all right. Jesus Christ, that took a dark turn, huh? But the scenes with Martin and Sheriff Good kind of go to kind of portray the issues that Black people a lot of times have with the police. Most everyone in the black community probably has a story or two about a dickhead. Can that? Oh, good. Not all cops are blah, 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 blah. You know, like, fucking shut up. Jesus Christ. I'm just going to get letters from... Letters? Nobody writes letters. I'm going to get emails from fucking a bunch of assholes that don't understand nuance. Even less than I do. But I think it's important, you know, and it's not done like, hey, whites are bad or cops are bad. Like, it's just, well, this cop sucks. And, you know, it's, I'm sure if any of the black people that I know, if I asked them, hey, is this, you ever fucking felt some shit like that before, seen some shit? And most of them, I'm sure, would say, you know, of course they have. I mean, fuck, I've seen it myself. So, like, I know what happens. And it's just good that it's there because, you know, like I said last time, fuck the cops. I mean, most, you know, fucking whatever. That's another thing for another time. God damn it, this sucks. This is going off the rails. Let's keep going. The Killer Battle Royal, I'll call it, for lack of a better term, because I don't know what else to call it, was very interesting to see the killers kind of go after each other. That was pretty ingenious on the behalf of Josh to, you know, spray the killers down with blood. As well as with Sheriff Good, you know, that because that was the initial plan, was to spray him and have the killers kill him, and then they figured when him gone, they would, you know, all go away. So, and that did end up being the case, which, you know, but shit plans went awry, you know, so they had to kind of, you know, improvise. By the way, I absolutely want a Milkman Killer and a Billy Barker, 2 separate standalone movies. I don't need them mixing necessarily, but I would like to kind of see something set in that time with those two kind of, you know, snapping, quote unquote. And probably the last thing I think I'll talk about in the good that I can kind of think of right off the top of my head. Dean actually brought the fucking cheeseburgers. I thought that was cool. You know, it almost seemed like a throwaway thing towards the end of part 1. You know, she had a little Burger King with her sweetheart. It was kind of cool. It was a nice little wrap to the story. It was good shit. Which I think is one of those things that it wrapped up the characters a little better, and that's why I think probably I enjoyed them more this time around than I did initially. Oh, who took the book? That was pretty interesting. Probably about halfway through the credits or so, they showed the book down in the temple or whatever the fuck, the cave, whatever you call it. I don't remember. Who cares? It's not important. You know what I'm talking about. And they show a pair of hands grab the book and you know, pull it out of frame. So that cliffhanger and the mostly, you know, overwhelmingly positive response to this movie, it does lead me to believe that there's probably going to be more to that storyline. And that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But with that out of the way, let's get to the bad. And it seems that the accents aren't really that great in this movie. I saw a lot of criticism online about them. You know, it took people out of the movie. And, well, I certainly don't think they're great by any means. And it almost seems like I'm defending them because they're definitely not good. The people that are saying that it took them out of the movie are fucking just assholes anyway. You know, they're not great accents to begin with, and it does seem at certain points some of the actors kind of fall out of the accent, you know, kind of like mid-sentence, which is maybe a little distracting, but it's, you know, wholly not like the worst thing in the world. It's I don't know, I didn't find it nearly as distracting as a lot of people, I guess, even though I did absolutely notice it. But I'm the kind of asshole that really pays attention to the way people talk, so I kind of assume that was just me. But, sort of, and I almost think that perhaps they would have been better just not doing the accents at all. Like, maybe I shouldn't have fucking just walked in and out of this accent during the entire video. It's probably stupid, and I'm going to look back on it in a year or two and feel like a real fucking idiot. I think they could have gotten away with just using their normal speaking voice, or at least the American accent, if any of these actors happen not to be American, which I'm not sure that they are. Either way, I don't know that this whole kind of extended sequence in the 1600s really was that successful. I totally get that it was necessary, obviously, to kind of show that Sarah Fear isn't the witch, that they portray her as, in modern times and things of that nature. It's necessary, as well as to show that, the good family is kind of behind the hopelessness and the constant tragedy in Shadyside. As much as I did like the subtext or the metaphor, or whatever, however you want to kind of categorize it, with the McCarthyism and all that, there should be a little more meat on the surface as well. And I didn't think for a lot of that first act or so that there really was much, as you get to the close of that, you start to see my stupid fingers. And as well as that, we get to see that, Nick Good's ancestors responsible for all this, that, and the other. For the misery in Shadyside. See, it's bad. It's fucking hard to keep that accent going, especially when you're trying to remember shit. This just kind of goes to show that maybe that wasn't the best idea. I kind of wish we had seen, I don't know, maybe more character interaction or something. Just give us something, but it doesn't have to be. I'm not one of those cats necessarily that needs to it's got to have a big explosion to start, or otherwise I don't care. But something more, I think, would have helped it, kind of along a little bit. And on top of that, I have harped on it, both of the previous movies, and this one is longer than both of those, so I'm going to fucking bring it up again. These movies are too long. Honestly, I think that they could have tightened up the ending. Maybe, honestly, the killers probably should have been the ones to kill Sheriff Good, and kind of have that be the finish, which would have kind of forced them to go a different way, I suppose, with the kind of cliffhanger during the credits. But, hey, I didn't write this fucking movie, so that's up to them to figure out. And I get that some of the increased length is from the recap, because not only is it recapping part 1, it's recapping part 2. But, it's still, even if you just start from, Fear Street part 3, whatever the fuck, the title card, and shoot to the end, it's still fucking too long. It's still almost 2 hours long. And I fucking hate movies that are that long for no reason. I know people say, well, it's because of the price of tickets and this. All right, well, then fucking cut prices of tickets, or just tell people to deal with it. I don't know what to tell you. It's annoying. It's just shit that doesn't need this. Okay, we get it. Yeah, we get the fucking idea. We know why you put this in here. Please stop explaining it for the third time. Now, like I said, I did enjoy the look of Pastor Miller. Before I get there, I guess, I did want to like the way that Dina kills Sheriff Good in the temple, or the cave, the cave temple. Go fuck yourself. Leave me alone. It's anticlimactic. It was just like a stab. Okay, it didn't need it. Like I said, just end it with the killers kind of killing him, and then they can kind of evaporate like they did, or disintegrate, whatever the fuck. Who cares? Shut up. Leave me alone. But anyway, like I said, I did like the look of Pastor Miller, with his eyes torn out. Jesus, you'd think after so many of these and doing the podcast, I'd figure out that everything's in reverse. But look at this gentleman with no eyes. He's fucking cool looking. I like that. I wish we would have got to see more of him because he was just kind of pretty summarily killed. Maybe show him gouging out the eyes of the kids that are sitting in the pews in the church. That would have been kind of sweet. But also, to kind of go along with it, what the fuck kind of a name is Mary Boy? What a dumb fucking name for a dog. Like, even if it's like spelled Merry instead of Mary. It's fucking stupid. I'm glad that piece of shit dog ended up in the well. Fucking assholes. Just to kind of wrap things up, fuck the Offspring. What a shitty band. They have fucking literally zero good songs. A waste of fucking vinyl and CDs, and cassette tapes, all that fucking shit. It's a waste of digital space. Fuck them. It's awful music for awful people. And if you disagree, you can kiss my goddamn fat ass. Look, I mean everything that I just said. I do. But perhaps I could have said it in a more professional manner. But I ain't a fucking professional. So you guys can go fuck yourselves. Be that as it may, it's time we talk about the MVP. And for part 3, the MVP, I think, is pretty clear. It's Josh. It's got to be Josh again. Played by Benjamin Flores Jr. in all 3 movies. He comes up big in this finale. In the finale, not only of the trilogy itself, but of the 3rd movie, the finale of the 3rd movie. The way he devised a plan to take care of Sheriff Good and the killers, how he fought against Ruby Lane. He broke his arm, but he fucking took that axe right to her cocksucking shoulder. I don't know if her shoulder sucks cock, but as far as I'm concerned, it does. And then I'm also assuming, and the movie doesn't tell us that explicitly, that he did hook up with that Queen of Air and Darkness chick, after she signs his cast. Because, for a kid of whatever high school age is, he was pretty cute. So, I guess I'm shipping that. Ugh, why do I have to say that? I'm going to hate myself even more than I usually do for the rest of the day. But yeah, of course, I think it's safe to say he's got to take the MVP award. And now this makes Benjamin Flores Jr. a 2-time MVP. Joining Clu Gulager, as the only 2-time MVPs of Talkin' Horror. But his character Josh now is the first 2-time MVP character because Clu Gulager won for 2 different movies, 2 different roles. So it's like a whole thing. It's a lot of fun. I've officially done enough of these where there's like a whole set of tracking you can do. You can make like a whole cute little chart or something, huh? Isn't that cool? Oh boy. Anyway, as far as Kill of the Night goes, this was difficult, actually, because there's not much in the way of anything creative going on here, nor anything incredibly vicious or violent. So almost by default, I think that the Killer Battle Royal is going to kind of be my pick for this because, like I said, there's really nothing else to go with. The Pastor Miller kill was kind of lame. We didn't just get to see him kill anybody. And a pitchfork kind of to the side. Sheriff Good's death is kind of lame. So for me, It's and it's not that the Killer Battle Royale wasn't cool, because it was like that was in the things that I liked, but I wish there was more. And no one really dies in that either, because they all keep coming back. I mean, you can fucking knock them down, but they just get right the fuck back up. So kind of by default, here's a little battle royale action for you.
I got that creepy perv motherfucker right in the bullseye. This is gonna work, right?
But what did you guys think? Now that the trilogy is complete, what was your favorite entry? Who was it that grabbed the book? Like, what are some of your guys' thoughts, opinions, conspiracy theories, whatever, as far as that? Who is your MVP of this movie, Part 3, as well as Kill of the Night for this movie? And going with that, looking, I guess, at the series overall, who was your series MVP, series kill of the series kill of them? That's branding. Shh. Kill of the Night for the series. Let me know in the comment section down below. Oh, and also if you're an Offspring fan, God be with you. But call me a cocksucker in the comments or something. I don't know. But I mean, we're kind of closing in on the end of this here. I figured we could go ahead and give a shout out to all my wonderful patrons. Thank you so much. You guys definitely help to keep me going and keep this going. I appreciate your support, be it monetarily or otherwise. But the shout out to Big Crack Rock, Hayes Neck, Devon Graham, Christian Hannah Horror, S'mores Indoors, Nick Ridza, Jay the Stingray, Jess Graham, Orc145626, Daniel Shine, Lauren Dixon, Mr. Bombastic, RetroCac, The Daily Ghost, and Slaughterport. And as well as that, I do have new things up in my merch store. I have a new shirt with Kincaid from actually Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, technically, but it's a fucking A t-shirt. It's brand new. I like it. Take a look. Offthegrill.store for that and all the other shit I have up there. And if you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/offthegrill podcast. But that'll do it for me, folks. And remember, Iris loves you.